Hi, Tony Selzer here. Welcome to Zipline. You know, I got a special treat. We're going to the coast, and we're finding some really awesome technology companies. And Cumbia is who we got on today. Cumbia is this really bleeding edge tech company that is doing mobile. And not only are they doing mobile, they're launching mobile companies, mobile apps that are really revolutionizing and changing the way we're going to consume in the next decade. And I know I've been speaking a lot to my followers about how mobility is just going to change the way we consume the internet. Jonathan Tarud is on today. He's the CEO. Now, Jonathan, talk to me what got this company started, what gave you the vision to get this going, and then let's talk about some of the cool things that are coming out of your sandbox over there.
Definitely, yeah. So we started primarily as a service provider. We started primarily with web back-end Rails development, but things evolved over the years.
Right.
And we grew into design and mobile.
Okay.
We've grown the team to about 85 people now.
Wow.
And we have a small office in San Francisco, one in New York, and the main one in Colombia. So we have a multinational, if you can call it that.
Right.
But yeah, our focus is primarily just building cool stuff
right.
For our clients, which are mostly technology companies, either small startups or established Fortune 500 type clients. But it's the same exact type of work, so it's really, really exciting to be actually having such a big platform to release new stuff too.
Well, and I think when I've seen some of the stuff that you guys have been doing, I mean, really, you are coming at it from, I know this there's UX and there's UI and there's all these terms that talk about how users interface it, but really understanding how mobility is going to change the way we interface with business, change the way we interface with our environment, change the way we're going to interface with each other. That's what I see, the common thread that I see with the kind of stuff that you guys are doing. You're not talking about, hey, we want this too. You're talking about, wouldn't it be cool if we could? And then you're developing that from the ground floor up. You're actually, reinventing, reimagining where companies can go by interfacing, by communicating with, not only their stakeholders, but their customers, by who they're going to build relationships with. That's kind of what I see. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's happening a lot, and most businesses that we're working with, some of the more established ones their primary focus is trying to figure out how they actually fit into this new era of mobile. Just to give you an example, some of the stuff that we were doing with Samsung included some of the multi-screen type stuff, mobile, TV, and how it all comes together.
Right.
Which is pretty exciting and pretty bleeding edge. Right.
Right.
So everybody's trying to figure out, regardless of their vertical, it's they either release the stuff, make really great apps for their customers, or they're going to be disrupted by some other player, which is what you're probably seeing with like the Uber market and the taxi market. These guys couldn't figure out what time it was, and now Uber's coming in with a very good, solid product, easy to use. That's why you're seeing all these revolts in London, Paris, and everywhere, because people need to understand that mobile is not just another website. It's everywhere, and they need to have a solid strategy, and it's not going to be like the web. It's going to be a lot bigger.
And it's really understand that ecosystem, right? Like that ecosystem between multiple different users and how they're going to interface to create a new economy. I mean, that's what Uber's done, and that's what I think I see you guys doing. It's like you're really, it's not necessarily the design or the development side, it's rethinking how we're going to consume, how we're going to interface. And that's what I'm enamored with some of the products you do. Now talk to me, you guys got a new thing that you're launching. I wanted to make sure we talked about it, this Dashable product. What is that doing?
Yeah, so basically, as we grew the team over the years, one of the things that we had trouble with was getting people to fill up their timesheets on time. We need them to be able to invoice clients, and there's no other good reason about apart from getting a few stats. So we went about trying to figure out how we can make this not so painful, both for the team and the people actually chasing everybody to get them done.
Right.
So that's when we started Dashable, and we launched the first version last year.
Okay.
And we've iterated rigorously over the last year, and now we've just released a brand new version that integrates into some of these project management tools that you're actually using, and brings all the activity that you're doing, so that when you're actually going to do the time, fill out your timesheet, it's almost filled out for you.
Right.
So we're automating that process and making it a lot easier, especially for bigger agencies to actually manage this type of stuff.
Well, I mean, I know we have that pain. That's something we would definitely look like. Getting people to track time and easily assign it to a project, so you know whether or not you're actually making money on the freaking job. I mean, that's a very big pain for the agency and the development houses, right? I mean, that's got to.
Exactly.
So like a lot of great products, you guys had a specific pain and you created a solution to solve it, and now you're starting to turn that outward and say, is there a marketable product here? Is there other people that would use this, that could adopt this, is there a business model behind that? What's your future for that?
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. We tried a bunch of other tools. Some of them worked interesting, but they didn't have, the capabilities to enforce some of the stuff that we wanted to do, or the stats that we needed to run the business. So that's why we built it. And then we just productized it, right? So our hope is, we're putting it out there. We're gonna try to see. We're talking to a bunch of companies that are really interested. We've started onboarding a few in the last 2 weeks, so we're pretty excited about what's ahead. We want to take it slow and make sure that we ease into this, but we want to make sure that the product is good, that the product is solid, and that we can scale it when needed. So we're taking it, a step at a time.
Yeah, awesome. So when you guys are looking for an ideal client and who you're going to work with, who you're going to partner with, I know you guys have done a lot of funded startups. And I know you've actually, worked with the Fortune 5,000, but is there any particular niche or vertical or type of company that you say, man, that's the kind of player we're going to work with because we have a DNA match and we can see that we're going to create something really great on the end?
Yeah, Mark Andreessen said it best. The whole software is eating the world. When you look at it, the Fortune 500 today is going to be completely different from what it's going to be in 5 to 10 years. And the reason being, all companies will be software companies, one way or the other, right? Most of the time right now, the existing companies that have development teams are doing stuff for their internal stuff, which is not really smart, and they're not really focusing on figuring out how to actually take the products that they have and convert them into the digital era, right? So what's happening right now, it's a big transition, and what we want to play the role is, how do we help these companies move into the digital era and start thinking more like technology startups, agile teams, and more into the lean type mentality, as opposed to their traditional way of doing business. And that's, I think, where we can really make an impact. At least for now, and it's really fun being able to have an opportunity to have a client with a big platform and with tons of people, users, where we actually can make a difference.
Right.
That's pretty
well,
cool.
When I think about what I see what you guys have done and what, like the whole Uber example, there are people's cheeses are being moved every day, right? If you're a big company, there's some young kid somewhere that is working on an app that is going to move your cheese. And you can either get in front of that or you can be a victim to it. You can be the buggy whip manufacturer, or you can get in the business of making automobiles. And I think that's kind of what mobility is doing. It's giving it's allowing people to step over that line and leapfrog the competition to get there. I mean, is that where you guys see the future of your business, is helping to make that leap?
Yeah, and not only that, but the playing field is actually being leveled, right? If you think about it, anybody has the same exact access to everybody else in terms of distribution. So nobody has an advantage. Everybody has to go through the App Store, and everybody has the same exact website, everything, inside the App Store. I mean, so when it comes to competition, the small guy is going to have exactly the same advantages and disadvantages as the big guys. So it's going to become really interesting to see how this pans out. And I think in the end, consumers are going to be the winners here. They're going to have more options and better quality ones. So it's going to be pretty interesting to watch this unfold over the next 5 years. Hey,
I appreciate you being on the show, Ron. Great having you, and really interested to see how you guys are going to continue to evolve the way we're going to consume, the way we're going to interact, and the way we're going to really find information and connect with others in the next decade. Thanks for being on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thanks, man.